Okay, so this is how I'm gonna draw Joseph. For now, I'm gonna do it with him sitting down looking at his notes at his desk. The first thing I normally do is I draw a stick figure of a sort. So like what Chloe said, like having like a line of movement, I do that with the spine. And I try to like let everything flow around that. So that helps with doing a stick figure. I do, and after I draw like the basic position of the body, I draw in the form of the arm, like I add in the shapes. So yeah, um, so I'm just gonna add the legs now. See how I'm still using a stick figure, and then I'm gonna add the shape of the leg, just moving around. Um, yeah, this is his arm holding a pencil. He's writing on the desk. I'm gonna draw the desk afterwards. But the best way to do it, draw a circle for the head and draw the spine on how you want the shape of the whole figure to look like, and then base the rest of the positions around that. Um, I do it on 2 layers so that's easier for me to put the details. But then again, you guys are gonna draw on paper. Unlike me, I'm gonna try to do it on digital because it's easier for me. So now I'm just adding a line for the face so I can like keep the proportions correctly. It also helps me figure out like where he's looking at, and how to draw everything else like his hair and his eyebrows. So I'm gonna draw the basic shapes, and after I add another layer, I'll draw all the details to make it much more neater. So I kind of drew in the shape of his head and where his ears might be. Yeah, and then I'm gonna add some other details. Okay, now I'm gonna draw the actual finer details, make it look cleaner. So I'm drawing the how his eyes. So when it comes to eyes, you don't want to just like you don't want them to look emotionless. So the way you draw the lines around the eyes, like how you feel your own eyes, like if you smile you can feel it like kind of crinkling up. So you want to draw imitate that. And when he's concentrating looking downwards, so when your eyes would arch down, so that helps like give a nice expression on his face. And the eyebrows and the way his mouth is shaped will also help emphasize this emotion. So here he's kind of concentrating, and he's a grumpy old man, so he looks extra grumpy. I like to draw his his jaw more like blocky, and his mouth I like to draw it, especially because normally I imagine him frowning, so I make his mouth a lot bigger than a normal mouth. Um, you could just draw the ear however you want. I'm going to stick with Chloe's design with his hair. I mean, I'm still getting used to drawing on the tablet, so that's why it's not as fine detail. I also, yeah, I add little crinkles on his eyes to help emphasize that he's old. And I'm just really quickly sketching in the hair. Yeah, I like to add little like sideburn lines on there. And I make his hair blocky like the rest of his head because it builds up the whole structure. Because it looks weird if you have a blocky jaw and then a round head, unless you're bald, but he's not. Okay, I'm gonna draw in his clothes now. I always imagine him with like a tie and a button up, and normally I just keep it to a simple triangle. But his neck, I try not to show their necks too much, and because he's looking down anyway, like that's how the neck would look like. And also the way you draw your shoulders will also help with their expression, how fluid their form is. So sometimes drawing the shoulders first before you do anything else helps figure out the pose, and also how the clothes crinkle and fold. I like to add little shoulder details, and then I keep the wrinkles of the clothes simple. just to show that it's bending a bit. And for the hand, I'm gonna keep it at like 4 fingers, 3 fingers for the thumb, so that it's like more cartoony, simple. We don't have to worry about keeping proportion too much because like lots of us are basic artists. So it helps keep everything simple like this. Just kind of whoops, I had more than one finger. Oh well. But like afterwards, I'm gonna keep at 3. I mean 4. Yeah. Oh, because he has a. We always imagine him with a big belly. Like drawing the line of where your buttons would be will help emphasize that. Um, and keep his fingers blocky because his if his jaw is blocky, it helps like keep it consistent on how to draw him. So keep him blocky. The only part of him is round. That's round is his tummy. And then I just kind of follow the shape of like what I drew earlier when it comes to the legs. Add some crinkles here and there. I try to keep it gestural, like to keep that sketchy feel. Just make sure you keep your pen lines neat enough so that it's not too messy. And when you draw, don't just like you should like do it in gestures. Don't keep it a solid line because it makes the characters look stiff. So you want to be as gestural as possible. Don't worry about making a perfect line, okay? Just like small tiny lines the way I did it. Like it helps make it flow better. Also, for the feet, we're gonna keep it super simple and blocky. I'm just gonna quickly draw the desk, but you can ignore the rest after that.